was a bit tired with painting recently, and I decided to use my oil pastel, which were quite neglected, I have to say. Oil pastels are a very great medium if you don't want to use the traditional brushes. I think it forces you to work in a different way and to have a different approach with your art and to break with what you could draw or paint traditionally. It is definitely a great way to explore and to experiment. For this drawing, I wanted to recreate an impressionist scene involving nature like a meadow, flowers or trees, and I think I'm still not really good with environment. My preferences are portraits, figures or character, but I want to get better as well with nature, landscape, and integrate them in a better way with my character, especially with oil painting. And oil pastels are a great tool for creating textures like trees, leaves, flowers, so it will be a good art exercise. Some artists like to use them in a very precise way and to make little details, but I prefer the other way, creating even a bit of a mess and layering as much as possible, even if perhaps the result is not the most defined. In my opinion, this is the impression which matters more than every little details. And as I am learning oil painting, it is also what I would like to achieve with oil painting. Painting, yes, with details, but also leaving room for more atmospheric and less precise details, which usually are for landscape and environment. Now I will explain how I proceed with this painting. I'm using Sennelier, Van Gogh and Caran oil pastel, and I use a lightly colored paper from the brand Clairefontaine. You can see that I'm doing a sketch, but now I even wonder why I did this sketch, since it will not be visible anymore under the layers of thick oil pastels. Probably it is still a good idea just to have an idea on how to compose your scene, but if you are very familiar with oil pastels, I think you can directly draw with them. My main goal at the beginning is to start to create a first layer with the main colors I will use. I have to say it can be a bit discouraging since it really does not look good when you put down these first layers and it seems that you are going nowhere. But trust me, you need to be patient. Like with oil painting, the ugly face is quite long with oil pastel. You need to layer and layer. You will see that layer after layer, the oil pastel will blend and you will be able to refine the details and add textures. At the very beginning as well, you cannot do that much on the way to apply the colors. But after a while, you will be able to create little strokes or patterns. I will do these little strokes and patterns, for example, for the bushes in the background or for the skin of the young man. All these little strokes and patterns will help you to create the texture and to give volume and definitions to your drawings. For blending, I recommend you to get a silicone blender. I use it mainly for pressing the color into the paper and also for blending little details. But try to not too over blending as well, since we want these textures to be visible at the end of the painting. Coming back to the composition of the painting, the young man is the central character. I wanted his skin to be fair so that it makes a better contrast with the meadow and the bushes in the background. To create more dimension, I decided to add a river in the background as well. Hopefully it creates this feeling of depth. I will now let you watch the rest of the video and I will catch up with you at the end. So I think I'm quite happy with the result I have here. I managed to structure the painting the way I wanted, with the different planes, bushes and river in the background, flowers and herbs or grass in the foreground. I managed as well to create deep contrast between the character and the meadow, but at the same time they both overlap well. Maybe the light is not quite correct and could be improved. Maybe the proportions of the young men are not perfect and quite off, but using oil pastel this way and also on a A4 format paper do not enable me to be too precise. So yes, it is not perfect, but I still quite like the result. For the final details, I'll also use oil painting and a little brush for the eyes, some light on the skin and the flower that the young man is holding. What do you think? Do you like to use oil pastels? Please let me know as well in the comment box below if you have any tips to improve oil pastels techniques. Also, please consider subscribing or liking this video if you enjoyed it. It will really help me to grow this art channel. Thank you for watching and see you for the next video. Bye bye.